the boys, we're going live in 5, 4, 3, 2.
Okay, yes, ma'am. I'm waiting. Okay, I think I see the notification now. And we are live. Boom. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to a special edition of Off the Record this evening. I have a great guest, Sister Linda Muhammad, who came to join us on the People's Podcast. While everyone seems to be quarantined around the country, we are here learning some great information and inspiration. First of all, assalamu alaikum, Sister Linda. Yes, ma'am. Sister Linda, first of all, I want to extend the greetings to yourself and your husband and your children. Assalamu alaikum.
They return the greetings, Brother Joshua. Salam.
Okay, excellent. My first question is, when did you first hear the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad?
So the first time was actually through a book in 1989, Message to the Black Man.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
There was an instructor who gave it to me. I was doing data entry and word processing, and he said, you should read this. So I actually heard it 3 times before I accepted and wrote my letter.
Okay, so now you say an instructor where? Like, how did
he was a teacher at a technical school for data entry and word processing.
Yes, ma'am.
He was a Muslim in Al-Islam at the masjid, but he gave me a book to read. He said I had leadership qualities. Read this book so you can know what to do with them.
Okay, yes, ma'am. Excellent. My sister Mimi says something like and Sister Deshawn says salam family. Walaikum salam, Mimi, and walaikum salam, Sister Deshawn, holding it down. Okay, Sister Linda, my next question is, why did you accept the teachings?
Oh my goodness, there were so many reasons. The third time, I literally was going through a period in my life as a teenager.
Yes, ma'am.
Where I was not happy and pleased. So very disappointed and struggle. So I literally said a prayer for God to come and get me. Didn't want to be here anymore. The very next day when it came to me, you should go to the mosque. You've read the book. You've heard the minister on, at that time it was on the audio tape.
Okay,
so
yes, ma'am.
You should go and hear the teachings live. So I actually went to a location in St. Louis, Missouri, in Goodfellow, and Brother Akbar Muhammad was teaching. And he spoke on different things about Minister Farrakhan. So that's when I got the tape. So the first time I heard it, I was 17. When I actually heard it again, I was almost 19. And at 20 is when I wrote the letter. I accepted it because all the answers that I had ever asked questions about in the church, anybody who was religious, they never got answered. So the things that the messenger taught, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught, I asked my grandmother, who was very spiritual, and she said it was all true according to the Bible and everything. I said, well, why are we not Muslims then? She said that's all they gave us. So once grandmother spoke, I was done.
Okay, praise be to Allah. So your grandma, a lot of people are giving you the greetings in the comments. Thank you all for giving me the greetings as well. Sister Linda, I have a question. You said your grandmother endorsed it. What about your parents?
Well, my mother was not for it. So I was still eating pork, ham, and bacon. And when you say you don't want those things, my mother was like, what do you mean you don't want this? You tell me. So, and then it was something else that she said, you got that book from that one guy, and blah, 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 he this, that, another, you getting brainwashed. So no, sir, my mom was not for that, and my father was not living anymore. So yeah.
Okay, yes, ma'am.
My mother said, listen to your mother because your mother is right. So my defense was, but dear, our grandmother said it was all true. So
okay. And my sister Naima says something like family. Walaikum salam, Nazi. Sister Linda, my next question for you is, did your mother ever come around? Yes,
she actually visited the mosque and everything. of course, when you hear the minister teach for themselves, and she saw it on the video, but she actually came to the mosque, it's totally different. But if you just go by hearsay of what's in the news, in the media, they're teaching, hey, what do you mean white man is the devil? What do you think you are? You think you are black? Do they know that you have, So
Okay.
eventually, yes, praise be to Allah.
Praise be to Allah. Okay, excellent. When you came into the ranks, who trained you, ma'am?
Praise be to Allah. So in St. Louis, Missouri, my MGT student captain was Sister Pamela Muhammad. My first officer was Sister Janice Muhammad. And our national MGT captain at that time was Sister Charlene Muhammad. So praise be to Allah. We actually had another captain and first officer while I was going through the process, and then in the class from processing the MGT. But when I actually got trained, it was Pamela Muhammad and Janice Muhammad.
Praise be to Allah. Who was this, the minister at the time in St. Louis?
Minister Donald Muhammad.
Okay, I'm still holding it down. Praise be to Allah.
Hey.
My next question is, when did you first meet the Most Honorable Minister Sis Farrakhan?
Well, let's see. It was in LA.
Okay.
And I was with the Vanguard there. At that time, I was actually in Las Vegas, and we were at one of our regional meetings, and the minister came to LA. So that would have been in either 1999 or 2000. I'm not really good with dates.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. No, you don't have to tell me the date. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And how was it to meet the Most Honorable Minister Sis Farrakhan for the first time?
That was one of the most highest points in my life, not just because the meeting of the minister, but everything that I had learned and been taught and trained up to that point, I actually got to experience it, meaning the FOI, the MGT, the Vanguard. The minister spoke in a local place to the public, but after that, we went to another place in LA where there was a fundraiser, and to see how everyone else responded to him, like, how we feel about the minister because of who he is and what he's given to us continuously, unconditionally. But to see the rest of the people actually respond to him, it was kind of leaves you speechless. Like, so all the things we had learned in Vanguard training, the scripture, find these men in the scripture, you actually see it like someone who wrote a book and then it becomes a live movie. So yeah, I could go on and on about that first experience. It was him and Mother Khadijah.
Excellent. And Sister Linda, my next question is, when did you go from seeing the minister as a speaker, maybe an activist, to someone who was divine in the terms of scripture?
Praise be to Allah. I would love to give this. In St. Louis, Missouri, the minister came, and I was blessed to help and assist at the hotel with Sister Mary Ellis. During that time, he had his guests and they were having dinner, and I was helping serve. Praise be to Allah. And there was a tornado going on, Brother Joshua. So mind you, prior to this actual experience, I had a dream that I was serving the minister, and I was like, I do security. I don't work in the kitchen and the food. That's my sister friend, Talisa. So how am I going to ever do this? But 2 months later, he did come to St. Louis, and I expressed my dream and my experience with Sister Mary Ellis. So what actually happened in the dream literally happened there in the hotel room, meaning what I was thinking and him finishing your thoughts. Then, as the tornado was going on, the minister's back was to all glass, right? And he had his guests were at the table and they were having dinner. At this time, it was bean soup that was being served. And they came on the radio on the intercom of the hotel room, and they made an announcement about getting everyone out of their rooms and downstairs for safety. This is a really bad tornado that did a lot of damage.
Yes, ma'am.
So the minister said, well, I guess we better eat our soup. Now I'm standing to the side waiting for the first meal, the first course of the meal to be completed, right?
Yes, ma'am.
I didn't see the minister flinch. The whole back, did I mention the whole room and wall was full of glass?
Yes, ma'am.
I looked at him at one end of the table and I looked at Minister Akbar at the other end of the table. No sweat, no nerves, no flinch, just eating their soup. I knew then that he was divinely protected and connected. And everything that you had ever heard about Radio in the Ear, the mother playing, him having the messenger and the Master Farrakhan Muhammad backing him, I knew, because before they could complete the meal, I heard the minister say, "Oh, the storm has passed over." Then they said on the intercom that everybody can go back to their rooms. So I was positively sure. I went from belief, thinking, feeling to knowing that man is who he says and who scripture says he is. Praise at that moment.
Hey, okay, excellent. My next question is, in your tenure in the Nation of Islam, which is how long, ma'am? You said, so it's been
29, going on 30 years. Praise be to Allah.
Have you ever been faced with a moment of fear, maybe a death threat, maybe just something that you had to overcome with a fear, and how did you overcome
it? My fears have never been from the outside. It's always something, like right now I'm nervous. So it's always self-nervous. Once you bear witness to these teachings, you're often reminded that the believers don't belong to you. They are the messengers, believers. And we are to serve the believers, right? So my fear is like going in front of, I remember when I wrote a letter and asked for the Vanguard class in Las Vegas, Nevada. And at that time, Sister Alice was the regional captain, and anybody knows Sister Emeritus Alice, no. So I was told I had to go meet with her. And she's just like this goddess, this God, this feminine, everything's perfect when you see it, meet her, right?
Yes, ma'am.
But it was the actual call, speaking with your mother, and your mother telling me what I could do, right? This is something you pray for. Allah's bringing it to existence. You go and you have the meeting and let Allah do his will, right? So I just wanted a class, right? So I thought someone else who was DI would be the captain and this, that, and the other. But at any rate, I went to the interview with her. We did get our class, praise be to Allah. And when she made me the captain, I was just...
Okay, see, I didn't know that you were the captain in Vegas. Okay, so I didn't know. Okay, yes, ma'am.
Oh, praise be to Allah.
I'm holding it down.
So yes, that's the Vanguard dream. I took a picture. You know, your mom is someone we all ooh and ah and learned over. There are many sisters before us who was just, when you say MGT Vanguard, you just, a picture or a name pops up, right? Of them in Atlanta, in the East Coast. But at any rate, so I took a picture with her and I sent that to you. The picture I took with Sister Sharifa, she was Sister Stephanie at that time, at the Mosque Mariam door. And so when that prayer was answered and that dream came true, right? Then I took another picture with her. But how I overcame that fear was belief in God. And there's no mystery, guys. So when you pray for something and you do the work, you can will it and bring it into existence. And that's something your mother reminded me of. And it wasn't for me. It was for all the youth and the rest of the sisters who was in Las Vegas. So we needed that class because there was so many of us that were young and we needed that Vanguard class.
Yes, ma'am.
So I overcame the fear by talking to other sisters who have overcome fear and overcome obstacles and then just facing it head on. And I see how the minister deal with things all the time. He very calm, like the Donahue interview. We were all like, rah, rah, rah. Please continue, devil. So.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, beautiful. Okay, so then I had to say this real quick because I kept getting a text message saying they couldn't, they wanted to hear my microphone. Speaking of my microphone, this is a brief commercial break. I want to do a special thank you for my new camera and my new microphone from my brother Jamil, who I've never met, who sent this to me, and his brother, I want to say his friend. They are supporters of the podcast, but I want to make sure that I give them a special shout out because they got me a microphone, Gary. So brother Jamil and the Gary, who I've never met, but I thank you all for allowing for sending me your podcast. I mean this equipment to help the podcast. Also now that you said that, St. Louis, a brother who has a clothing company called Supreme Men's Clothing at 10835 West Florissant Avenue, St. Louis, Missouri, 63136. The phone number is 314-528-5555. This will help you get fresh, get some good clothes. If you're all in St. Louis, make sure y'all support. Supreme Spring Water is another sponsor of the podcast. My brother Rashad, his video editing, Street Premiere. Make sure you all support if you need some production. I want to make sure we thank you for that. Also, ABC I Love Me, my sister Miriam's children's book and coloring book, which is on Amazon. And my second book, which is Cleopatra's, a children's book. It is on Amazon. If you all have children and want to support, make sure y'all get that. Last but not least, my father's new book, A Soldier in the Movement of Christ, Abdul Sharif Muhammad. Yes, ma'am. Also, if anybody has businesses and wants to sponsor J Imagination on Cash App, just let me know. I'll promote it on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. All right. And my sister always prays a lot for the brother. Absolutely. Back to you, Sister Linda. Sister Linda, what was it like being a MGT or in the Vanguard during the time of the May Man March?
So I actually was not in the Vanguard class and during the Million Man March. I was during the Million Family March.
Okay, yes, ma'am.
And so yeah, I remember staying at home, and as everybody was getting ready and preparing to travel to Washington, it was kind of sad. We couldn't go. We wanted to go there. We was like, we need to be there for the sisters who are gonna come that's not supposed to go. So,
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
We all knew that it was going to be history making, praise be to Allah, before it actually aired, but to actually see it. So I didn't get to go. I wasn't actually there in Washington. We were there in spirit in St. Louis. It was phenomenal. And when we did go to the Million Family March, it was like, yes, we're here now.
Yes,
it
ma'am.
was like a dream. It was yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Well, often I ask the FOI or the men who are on the podcast how they feel about the Most Honorable Minister Farrakhan, but sometimes we can neglect to talk about his wife, Mother Farrakhan. As you being an NGC and a sister, how has she impacted your life?
You see my earrings, darling. You see the way I sit. She's such a lady, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Praise be to Allah. She has a very nourishing spirit. Love is sincere, is unwavering. Listen, it wouldn't be a minister where he is today if it wasn't for her. So all praises are due to Allah for Mother Khadijah. I can never say enough, and the awe that we have of her. And every time you see her now, isn't she getting like younger? She's reversing.
Yes, ma'am. She is.
She's beautiful. Praise be to Allah.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, excellent. My next question is, what has been your greatest trial in your tenure in the Nation of Islam, and how have you overcome it?
So we are taught that hard trials are necessary to establish the truth. And so what I have learned since one of our classes, making Allah sufficient, in that little bitty thin workbook, it's not us. Whatever Allah's will is, it's going to be. For example, I have had so many different plans and things that I said I was going to do, want to do, once I got married and moved to Kansas City, Missouri. None of that has happened. Right? I mean, none of it. Yes, and never according to how you think. So I know for a fact that Allah is the all-knowing best of planners. And I was just speaking with one of my sister friends, Sabria, about this today. That one thing we know is that whatever it is that you lose or that changes, when Allah replaces someone or something, it's with something way better. It's much better. So where I am now, I am grateful to Allah for the blessings. And it's not just a saying, because we didn't have the understanding, or you just didn't know. So we're not all knowing. Yes, so when you say, why me? The thing they're saying now is, why not you, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Like, okay. So everything we've done, even like with the teachings, and you spoke earlier, how did your parents, accept that? Everything my mom was protective, was strict on, it prepared me for the nation. Praise different things that we learned. My mom said, I already taught you that. I raised you like that. I that, right? And it's true.
Yes, ma'am.
So that's how I handle what I learned from that making Allah sufficient, is how to discipline my disappointments. Because I'm not the all-knower. So we have some, I want to go here, I want to do this, or I want to do, right? We get all excited as the believers. We'll make this happen.
Yes, ma'am.
We're gods, but we're not the God. So I'm just learning how to discipline my disappointments. And you will always find out later on, oh, wow, this is so much better. Praise be to Allah. That's how I deal with them.
Praise. That's excellent and very inspirational. Thank you all for continuing to watch the People's Podcast as well. My next question is, what has been your greatest joy in your tenure at the Nation of Islam?
Whew, so many. Well, everyone knows I love Mother Linda Muhammad. And I always saw her on the videos. But to actually be in her presence was totally, I can compare it to the minister, right? For me, because you see someone from afar, when you're actually in their presence, it's even greater than you imagine it would be. Their presence, like the minister said, he brings his own atmosphere.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Literally being in their presence, it's a whole different atmosphere.
Yes, ma'am.
There's no stress, there's no drama. It's really peaceful and calm. You can kind of hear the violins that really aren't playing. So my greatest joy was being in the company of Mother Linda and the minister, and being around someone who was so connected to Allah and peaceful. No worries, no stress, no fear. And if they had them, you didn't see or feel
it. Okay, excellent. My next question is, what advice would you give to future wives?
Be very specific in your prayer. And know that there's no mystery God. So what you want to attract, when we say, oh, it is just a reflection of you, beloved, be that, right? Be that. Because some people say that, you're like, no, you're not a reflection of me. And they say, I can't see itself. However, be very specific in your prayers and do as the minister has advised us. We have all kinds of books, guidelines, workbooks. Go to your class, learn how to handle self and love self.
Yes, ma'am.
So that you can handle and love the husband. Because the male and female are not alike.
That's right. That's right.
Praise be to Allah. So definitely go to your class so you can armor yourself with the tools. It's not going to just fall out the sky. And talk to other people who are married, who have been married, so they can tell you the whole real of it. Prepare for the marriage, not the wedding. We get caught up in the wedding. Oh, I'm going to wear this, and I'm going to have this, and then the music, and then the pit. When that dies down, praise be to Allah, it's you and him and you, right? And Allah. So one of the things that I love about my husband is that when we had disagreements, he reminded me that the minister said we have all the tools to get through anything.
Yes, ma'am.
Deception of this or that, right? So he literally refers back to that. When he's in trouble, he'll put on the minister, right? He pull out a book. And
he's a smart man.
I like that. Right? So prepare for the marriage. Brother minister, student minister, Nuri has excellent books.
Yes, ma'am.
Before, and after. And it's not just a book that you pick up for enjoyment. It really has tools and guidance in there that is from the minister, right? Direct. And he's an example because he's married, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So prepare for the marriage first and then the wedding, and be specific in your prayers to Allah and what you're looking for a mate. And if that's what you're looking for, be the same so that you can attract it. Because as the girls, women and girls of Islam, Allah will answer our prayers because we're his daughters.
Yes, ma'am.
So be careful what you pray for.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Beautiful. Thank you, my sister Mimi. She said, I guess she's saying Mother Tana is a true queen. My sister Naima says, all praises to Allah. Thank you, Sister Linda. Keep teaching. Excellent. Beautiful. My next question is, Sister Linda, I would have to ask you and your husband. I got to interview both of y'all together because this is my first time really having a conversation with them today. We were setting this up, but I think y'all would be a great couple to have on as well. What do you do for fun, Sister Linda?
Dubai. So for me, we train, we do VSK martial arts. That is fun for us, right?
Okay.
Because it's real. Brother Joshua just asked, what do we do for fun? I just told him that. I was like, we train, we do martial arts. Like, we have mats out there, we have boxing guns. Yeah, we actually see if it works, right? And it does. But we watch movies. I'm a kind of spontaneous, like we can plan the date night and have nice dinner and do this, that, and that. But I like the role play and the let's do this. So yeah, we travel when we get to. That's fun for us. And he's hilarious. We tell jokes. You know how it is.
He's funny. Yes, ma'am. Okay. What has kept your faith all of these years? And what advice would you give to the youth about faith in order to keep everybody grounded, 10 toes down?
Yes, sir. This is very important and something I learned from a dear close friend of mine. We've heard the minister and Brother Ishmael say, your friends should be those that are striving like we are.
Yes, ma'am.
In the nation, in the teaching. That, again, is not just a cliche or hearsay. What has kept it strong? One time, I was talking to Sister Talise. Everybody know that's my BFF in the nation, right? Yes, BFF in life. And I was like, oh, you're so funny. And I was like, we should do some things together. We should, spend time together. All my friends come to the MGT class and you can catch me in a class. I was like, okay, I know. I was talking about like go get ice cream or to the movies or something, but okay. So what keeps my faith is friends. Like my friend Sabria here in Kansas City. You have to have friends who are on the same journey that you're on. Mm-hmm. I have a god sister who I've had since the 6th grade, and she is not in the nation. However, she's very spiritual. Her husband's a minister in the Seventh-day Adventist. We talk about foods we should eat and shouldn't eat, how we are doing things in our communities, in our mosques. So your friends have to be either where you are or where you obtain to be. Mm-hmm. So I'm trying to make new friends, like, Sister Nuseba, Sister Shanasia, Sister Tamiko. These sisters already are doing certain things. They have mastered their 7 units. If you want to become a god and not just speak of all the other great gods, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Then you have to have friends like that. Sister Deanna and I was talking. She was like, well, Sister Sharif. I was like, you don't know Sister Sharif. That's my Sharif. So we liked each other's spirit, dainty but deadly. And this is where we got it from. Sister Sharifa was always, oh, beloved. But do something you're not supposed to do that's against the teachings and see what Sister Sharifa said. Right? So you should have friends who are striving like this. And in today's world, it's a little different. As my mother said, it's worse nowadays, right? Where worldly things are on the radio, they're on the magazines, everything on Satan's world, which is totally opposite of our world that we're striving, that we will bring into existence. So having a friend that you go to school with, that's fine. But when you have them, it should be for you to give a good example, and the best example of Islam, give a good impression. Yes, but your best friends have to be those who are striving like this. when I'm going through things, it is so wonderful to talk to my husband and bounce things off because he knows exactly what I'm talking about. He was like, I know, right? And did you hear the minister when he said, you know, Connecticut City, right?
Yes,
So I called Talisa, I called Sabrina. If I call Sister Marissa, I need to know things like this. You have to have friends that are where you are or striving to be or on a higher level for you to obtain in order to become a guide. And that's the whole point of this, you know, we are all guides of the Most High. So you have to have friends in that area. If they're all in the world, now you might have a good musician, a good artist, and they're not in the nation, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they cannot be your best friend because are you going to your world or are you going to their world? They want to drink wine, darling.
Yes,
and things like else, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So that is my way that helps me because somebody else they'll be like, well, I don't even know why y'all got to wear all that anyway.
Yes, ma'am.
Why don't you wear it? No one wants an unwrapped piece of candy, you know.
Yes, ma'am.
So that works for me. That's what's helped me.
Praise be to Allah. That's beautiful, Sister Linda. My next question is, what do you want your legacy to be?
A very good question. I realized that I thought I had many things, but at this past Savior's Day, see, I'm striving to get and earn and live up to my holy name, first and foremost. So I have the Muhammad, right? First name is Linda. It's not Talia. It's not, you know. So I want to earn that Muhammad name and be like those other women who I've mentioned.
Yes, ma'am.
Who you admire that are advocates for women, but who help save women. And I want to be, every time you come around, Sister Linda, you know that there is a God because of my positive energy, my love, you know. I need that to be my legacy. When I was at Savior's Day, it's busy, right?
Yes, ma'am.
You don't let nobody out soldier you. Okay, because your blessings are with Allah, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So to be a soldier on the battlefield for truth is something I want to be known for. And I always thought, oh, I want to be the next Mother Tanetta. Well, that was Mother Tanetta's assignment. I have to have my own assignment. So I try to keep my rapport with the youth in the vanguard because some of us forget what it was like to be young, you know. And you don't have to look like a grandma. That's why
Yes, ma'am.
We are covered and modest, but it's right down to the modern times, right? Yes, so I want them to have fun and enjoy their Islam. I always post stuff and I say, loving my Islam. Like for them to find the balance because you can do everything and check off your restrictive laws and still be a beautiful Muslim woman, right? Just love it. Where at the point where you go to work, they're like, is something different? Okay. I didn't know you all could. Oh, okay. So my legacy, I want to be one of the loving soldiers. I want to live up to that Muhammad name where I do the work and it's loving. I'm enjoying it. We work cheerfully, you know?
Yes, ma'am. Praise be to Allah. Excellent. Peace, Raymond Gilliard, and also Sister Anita, Brother Earl, always showing love. And my sister Miriam says, teach modesty is fly when you are stylish. Allahu Akbar. Okay. I want to thank everyone and tell everybody be safe and peaceful out here. And Sister Linda, please, I want to thank you again, your husband and your children. And thank you all for your sacrifice. And I look forward to trying to get you all back on as a couple, because I think y'all be good, a good couple to come on.
Oh, that would be awesome. And I don't hear the children, like they're here and they've been in, and we usually do family games and a little bit of knowledge when the husband comes home. So I was like, I got a live interview and I'm nervous and everybody, right? And I'm really shocked. I don't hear anything. So yes, sir, I'm going to thank them. And thank you so much for having these interviews, especially now when everybody's in the home. But like my husband told you earlier, we watch your interview. So we get all excited, like, oh, guess who's going to be on there? Right? When I see, you know, when you did Sister Disabled, you did Sinead, I was like, oh my God, did Brother Jamil.
Yes, ma'am.
Everybody likes Uncle Jamil, right?
Yes,
and then your dad was on there. We was like, wow. So my husband said he's got to rewatch the one with Brother Dennis. But I am grateful, like your sisters and mom say, that you're putting the sisters on there so that we have more positive images, right down to the modern times, right? And something positive. We have a lot of youth as yourself who are doing positive things, but they make it fun, like all of your posts that you put on her.
Yes, ma'am.
It's just like I don't think they say keeping it real anymore, but whatever they say now, it's fun, and it shows them that you can be a servant to Allah God,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
still just have fun, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And so thank you so much for having these. Yeah, I'll tell my husband you said because you think I'm nervous. Are you gonna be nervous, Jabari?
Nervous for what?
Oh, he too is because he's upstairs.
Okay.
Are you gonna be nervous to do the interview with Brother Joshua?
Okay, well, perfect. Well, assalamu alaikum, family, and thank you all for watching.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you, salam, man.